Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Anthony Joshua finally responds to Deontay Wilder bomb squad. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for the latest and the greatest. Now, the heavyweight division is definitely back. I really enjoyed Joshua Klitschko this year, and Deontay Wilder is trying to get himself a big spotlight fight like that. He thinks it'll do good numbers. That's, to me, obviously I wanted to see Canelo versus Golovkin. We're getting that. And aside from that, one of the quote-unquote fantasy fights or me playing matchmaker is Wilder Joshua. I gotta see that, and I want to see that, and I want to see it now before either have a performance where they lose or look vulnerable. You know what I mean? I think the time is right. Now, Deontay Wilder on his social media, he posted this. It's a picture of himself, and he says, "I just got one question. Which one of you, Anthony Joshua or Joseph Parker, want this hashtag work first?" And he put the thinking, I'm willing to put up the most prestigious, most well-known, the godfather of all belts, where all the greats lived, and that's the WBC title. I'm good just having the WBC, but nah, I want yours too. You want your cornbread? That's from the movie Life. Y'all don't know that. Eddie Murphy and Martin. You gonna eat your cornbread? It's about that time, fellas, and that's to unify, so let's do this shit. One title, one face, one name, Deontay Wilder. Hashtag bomb squad, hashtag you can't love nobody champ, hashtag real talk, hashtag unify, etc. USA versus everybody. That's coming from the Bronze Bomber himself. So yet again, Wilder is calling out and calling for Anthony Joshua or Joseph Parker to step up to the plate to unify. Now, I don't know what it is as an American where people look at Deontay Wilder, and it's like this level of hate. But despite whatever you want to say about his fighting style, you have to acknowledge what you're seeing. And this has been several attempt after attempt to get one of these guys, right? And I keep saying this, and I'm going to keep saying this until you guys get tired of it, because it's the truth. These guys are all in the same division. They're all in the same sport. So if you really don't believe somebody, it ain't no thing but a chicken wing. All you have to do is call his bluff. If you think the man doesn't really want to scrap, and people are saying, oh, Wilder has 30-something professional fights and he ain't fought nobody. You know what I mean? Not mentioning the fact that he was about to fight somebody, a gold medalist, right? Just like Klitschko, just like Joshua, a gold medalist, and Alexander Povetkin, once beaten, and he lost to Klitschko when Klitschko hadn't lost in 10 years, right? And through no fault of his own, Povetkin couldn't test clean. You know what I mean? He failed a drug test. And then Wilder had to turn around, go home, sue Povetkin for, you know what I mean, wasting his time and money owed and whatnot. So that's not Wilder's fault. Wilder was going to fight somebody aside from Bermane Stiverne, right? And Bermane Stiverne was going to fight that same somebody, Povetkin, to get a rematch or a shot at Wilder. He flew all the way to Russia, even had the weigh-in, and guess what? Alexander Povetkin tested positive for something else, a different drug, in the same year. Now they're talking about letting Povetkin fight somebody else, we don't know who, for whatever reason, even though he's suspended within the I think in America and WBC and stuff. Crazy. So I don't know why people blame Wilder for everything. Like, you know what I mean? It's his fault Povetkin can't pass a drug test. It's his fault that he's calling out other champions talking about unifying. And I haven't really seen anybody making that motion to, like, you know what I mean, Joshua do a video or Joseph Parker do a video. But Joseph Parker, I haven't really seen him respond at all. Joshua did comment on Deontay Wilder's post that I just read to you guys, and he says, whoever the people want to see me fight, I'll fight. No problem. Point blank, period. So I like that. I just want to see. Let's see it. You know what I'm saying? That's a good fight. That's anybody could win that fight when you got that type of power that both fighters have. Then it's really anybody's game with the right game plan. You know what I mean? It could be a matter of who gets off first. Joshua is more technical than Wilder, but I actually think Wilder has more single shot power than Joshua, right? You've seen Joshua has power, don't get it twisted. But see, this is the thing. Some people get mad when I talk about there's different severities to everything. There's different speed. Certain people have snappy, fast power that is explosive, 0 to 60, bah! You know what I mean? Some people are just overall quick. They can release combinations quicker. You know what I'm saying? So there's different types of speed, different types of power, right? And like I think Triple G has power, but I think David Lemieux has more power than Triple G per capita. Like if you were able to bottle up David Lemieux's power for one shot, bah, and then Golovkin, bah, and then you were to measure it some kind of way, I think David Lemieux would have more power. And that's what I think with Deontay Wilder versus Joshua. Obviously, they both have power. They both can crack, right? But I'm just talking about when measured against each other, I really think that Wilder probably has more. And it could be similar to David Lemieux. David Lemieux's not as technical as Golovkin, so that might be why these guys are generating more power, because they have their own style and they throw the punches how they want, you know what I mean? And maybe it's where their punches are coming from. Maybe the punches are wider or their stance is wider or whatever, but that's just my personal thoughts. Bottom line, let's see the fight. And Joshua was saying whoever the people want me to fight, he's a great fighter. He has 2 belts now after beating Klitschko. They're talking about a Klitschko rematch. I don't really care for that. Me personally, I loved the first fight. It was a great fight, but we had a definitive answer, and it wasn't Klitschko, and it was Joshua knocking out Klitschko, and Klitschko wasn't a champion. So I don't really understand why a rematch is needed. You know what I mean? I don't know what they had in the contract. Maybe there's a rematch clause, but I don't see how you can exercise a rematch clause when you're not a champion and you get knocked out. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you lost a controversial scorecard. So to me, that's really not a fight I have to see. And if so, I don't want to see it immediately. I don't have to see it immediately. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm a boxing reporter. I love the sport of boxing, so I'll watch it. But, you know what I mean? It's going to be hard to top the first fight, for instance. You know what I mean? That's for starters. The first fight is going to be very hard to top. Joshua Klitschko, 90,000. Are you going to really get 90,000 people back? It's the same thing with confidence. Is Klitschko, knowing he got knocked out, is going to have the same confidence that he had in the first fight? Is he going to, you know what I mean? Joshua knows now not only that he can hurt because he dropped him early, round 5, but he also stopped Klitschko. So, you know what I'm saying? It could be a good fight, but me, I just don't have to see it. I'm all about rematches that need to happen. Ward Kovalev, okay. I was at that first fight. That needs to happen, right? I thought Ward won, but just to clear the air, it needs to happen because there's other people who feel differently. You know what I mean? Okay, that has to happen. Joshua Klitschko, it doesn't. It was that if you knock someone out, we know who won. You know what I mean? Unless it was like Andre Durrell versus Jose Uzcategui or whatever. You know what I mean? Where it's like a legal knockout. Other than that, if it was a clean knockout in regulation and all that, then we know who won. So before people criticize Deontay Wilder, let's start putting the pressure on these other champions to unify. Joseph Parker, he's been kind of mum when it comes to Deontay Wilder's call-outs. So to me, that's showing that his team is not quite there. Like they're not trying to step up for the Wilder challenge. You know what I mean? You can't have somebody just constantly calling you out, and there's really no reason not to make the fight. Like Joseph Parker, you could say he's a new champion, but at the end of the day, he's a champion. When you're a champion, you have the bullseye on your back. Both other champions and challengers are going to want that opportunity. You haven't seen Errol Spence Jr.? He's been on Kell Brook's line for the longest, trying to like corral him in to get in the fight, and he's just now getting it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens when you're a champion. You have a belt. It's like fight somebody real or vacate. You know what I mean? People don't want to wait around. People don't want to. People feel like they've waited long enough. You know what I mean? Been a pro for 15, 16 years or whatever. Been boxing as long as they've been boxing. They want their opportunity. So I really want to see it. And before, like, I'm sick of these comments in the comment section where it's the fans blaming the guy who's calling out the fighter. Like, he's at least making an attempt to make great fights, right? And we don't have the other side giving and calling that other fighter's bluff. That's not how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? The guy's calling you out and you don't believe him, then it's easy. You know what I mean? Send him a contract. And, you know what I mean, FaceTime it or FaceTime him or whatnot. You know what I mean? There's so many ways to go about it, to see who's real and who really wants to fight and who really doesn't. Because I know some guys just talk and say they want fights, but they really don't. But there's no indication to me that Wilder doesn't really want what he says in terms of a unification, because he keeps making videos, he keeps posting. He went all the way to the UK for Joshua Klitschko. You know what I mean? He was ringside. He was yelling bomb squad in Wembley. You know what I mean? So Joshua says, I'll fight who the people want. Then I think the people's voice needs to be louder. I don't really care about Kubrat Pulev. I mean, him getting the opportunity as much as, because unifications trump that. You know what I mean? They trump mandatories with most sanctioning bodies and whatnot. So if it were a fight like that, it would make sense, and it would trump the unification. The unification would trump the mandatory. Like I said, the Klitschko, I don't really have to see that. So I think Luis King Kong Ortiz is another person. Fight somebody like that. Those are great fights. Anybody can win in this new heavyweight era. You know what I mean? These guys all have power, different skills and stuff like that, big frames. Let's see it. That's all I'm saying. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, but I'm glad Anthony Joshua did respond on Wilder's page. Let's see if he responds with the contract or Eddie Hearn or gets with him, because a lot of these fighters, you can't blame your promoter for. Promoters are going to give what they think is in your best interest, you know what I mean? But if you really want to fight, most people, I've talked to several Al Heyman fighters, and they said Al will do it. You know what I mean? He'll give his 2 cents. But if we really press for the fight, they told me, you know what I mean? The fighter, I have some of them on tape. Well, I asked them, they said Al Heyman he'll give his blessing, and you've seen it. Dominic Brazil, Charles Martin, those are Al Heyman fighters. A lot of people gave him no shot to beat Joshua, and they didn't beat Joshua, but he still let him go over to the UK and get knocked out by Joshua. You look at Amir Khan versus Canelo, a lot of people said it was a suicide mission. Al Heyman, he let Khan fight Canelo. No rehydration clause. Just, okay, it's your career. You know what I mean? People gave Danny Jacobs no chance versus Golovkin. He let him go over there in HBO and prove himself. Now people are like, wow, Jacobs can scrap. I had him winning. You know what I mean? Or he gave Golovkin his toughest fight, even if you had Golovkin winning. So these fighters can't hide behind the promoter and say like, oh, my promoter's not getting the fight, or it's up to you too. You know what I mean? Because your promoter is gonna do what they think is in their best interest. They're not necessarily gonna make a fight they don't feel you're ready for. But if you tell them you're ready for and you're sick of being called out, then that's something else. That's how I look at it. It's just like an actor with the agent. You know what I'm saying? The agent's there to get you the casting calls and let you know and hip you to what's going on in your industry, and maybe connect you with the right people or get you a slot at an audition. You know what I mean? And then you do the rest. It's not, and then they get their commission once you get hired and once you get booked. You know what I mean? And I used to do a little like acting stuff or wanted to pursue some acting stuff, so I know how the game goes there. And that's kind of the same thing. These boxers, you have promoters, that's what they're supposed to do, promote you, but that doesn't mean you have no say in your career and the direction it goes. Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.